House Sews. My name's Sarah. Thanks for joining me today. It is another edition of Friday Sews. I'm back in the rhythm of it now. And it's going to be a fairly quick one today, hopefully, if I don't chatter away for ages. But I did want to update you on some of what I've been working on. So this is for me the last week of the Easter holidays. I was ill for the first part, so I managed to finish some projects off and cut some bits out, but I didn't actually do much sewing. And this week I've been able to do a bit more sewing, but also I've been catching up on sort of seeing the people I was supposed to see earlier in the holidays and doing a lot of prep for work that I also wasn't able to do when I was ill. So there's not been sort of as much sewing time as I would have hoped for, but because I have a lot of projects cut out, I'm hoping I'll be able to dip in and out of sewing a bit more through the term time. Now, as I mentioned, I tend to work on this cycle where during term time I'm working loads and then I crash in the holidays and then I start it all again. And this term is going to be really busy, like they always are, but I want to try and manage it a bit better so that I'm not crashing every time I have time off, so that I can enjoy my time off. So the next break will be at the end of May. And I'm still going to be working really long hours, but I'm going to be trying to sort of eat a bit better, make sure I'm getting plenty of sleep, not over pushing myself on external factors. So so I don't know what that's going to mean for sewing. The thing is, for me, it helps me to switch off and I really miss it when I'm not doing it. So I definitely will be sewing, but I'm going to just see, maybe it's that I'm just sewing a bit more slowly or not for quite as long or whatever, but I'm going to come up with some sort of balance. It might also mean that I change how often I vlog during term time or when things are really stressful. I don't know, but we will see. Anyway, I'm blathering away already. Behind me, you will see an almost finished top. This is another Be Mine balloon sleeve top, which is by Pattern Emporium. And it's a lovely cotton lawn that I purchased from Emporia Patterns fabric shop, just to confuse everything. So the pattern is Pattern Emporium. The fabric was from Emporia Patterns fabric shop. And yeah, it's a lovely cotton lawn. I think it's officially navy, although it looks like black, with these little hearts on. And I've previously made this pattern once before. I'll pop a picture here in case you didn't see it. Now, this was in a crinkle viscose, and I really like the top, but the fabric was an absolute pain. I think you take the slipperiness of viscose and then you add in the crinkle dynamic, and it was just there was so much movement. So I was quite keen to make this pattern again in a more stable fabric, because there were certain things where it was kind of difficult to assess the fit because the fabric was behaving in such a sort of unstable way that I couldn't tell what's the pattern and what's the fabric. So the only thing I haven't finished with this is the hem. They have a really nice way of finishing this, I think. And I would say that's one of my overall feelings about this pattern is it's a fairly simple shape, but it's got some nice, I'll show you some of the details in a second, but the finishing, they just elevate it a bit. So I think it just feels really satisfying to make. And basically at the bottom, instead of just folding it over and hemming it, you sew quite a deep facing, and then you attach that underneath, and then you have a deep hem. I just think it looks really nice, and it gives it a bit of weight, which I think makes it feel more expensive. Now, if you don't know, the Be Mine balloon sleeve top is a basic, this one has darts, but otherwise it's very basic top. It's got balloon sleeves, which you can't massively see because they're on my mannequin, but it's got these gorgeous, I'll show you here, sort of gathered into a nice hem band, not a hem band, sleeve band, I don't know what you call it, but it's really, really pretty sleeves, really gorgeous sleeves. And then at the back, if I turn it around, you have this nice little keyhole opening, and there's also this nice seam at the back. I haven't finished pressing it because I've not finished sewing it yet, but you can have a seam in the front as well, but I omitted that because I just thought it was pointless. But you sort of need it in the back because of the opening here. I put a nice little button that was just in my stash on there. And yeah, I just think the finish is really neat, and generally you get a very wearable top, and it doesn't use too much fabric. I think I had 2 meters of this, And I got this out of it pretty easily, which is good. And I decided, because I want to wear this for work, I'm always looking for things that are sort of weather appropriate and that I like, but I work in a school some days of the week, and so I need to have certain coverage, and it's just about getting the balance right. And this blouse is really good for that, but I don't really have much to wear it with. The hemline sits a bit high for me to wear it with trousers because I feel like it just exposes the tummy area a bit. So ideally I'd like to wear it tucked in. And so I had to look through my stash to see what I had, and I found this crinkle, well, would you still call it crinkle? I know, I was just telling you how awful crinkle fabric was, wasn't I? This is like a plisse fabric, and in a nice sort of wine colour. I don't know which, the right and wrong side isn't obvious, but I will inspect that before I sew anything. And I purchased this from Rainbow Fabric, not Rainbow Fabric, that's a lie, Fabricland in Kingston, and it was, I mean, everything in Fabricland is super cheap, so it was super cheap, but I bought it ages ago with a view of making a skirt, and then I just haven't got around to making it. So when I finish hemming this today, I'm going to really quickly zhuzh up a sort of gather plisse skirt, which I think will go with this really nicely, and it'll be sort of midi length. And I also have this elastic, which is, I think it's an Atelier Brunette one, which I purchased, I'm going to say from Guthrie and Garni, but I could be wrong, but I think I saw it on one of the Monday live videos. And I like this because it makes sort of an event of the waistband rather than it always being you have to hide the waistband. So if there's a little bit of the waistband peeking out when you tuck the top in, it's not going to look sort of scruffy because it's an event, the waistband itself. So I'm just going to make a really simple gathered elasticated waist skirt, which I think will then go nicely with this top as an outfit. So just imagine, please say skirt, a little band. I think it's going to be cute. So yeah, so that's what I've been working on. I need to get on to sewing my Lygon robe in toweling. I'm so stressed about getting the fabric out in our house because there's just dog hair in the atmosphere. My parents have 2 black dogs. We've got like a ginger dog, and that I feel like you don't notice that there's just hair everywhere, but it just lands on everything. So I'm a bit worried about getting the fabric out because I'm stressed about keeping it dog hair free. But that's definitely going to be next on the list. So I'm going to get this skirt quickly sewn up. I'll be wearing these for work next week, the blouse and the skirt. And then my project for the next week or so is going to be to make some progress on my robe. Yeah, I've got a few things in mind actually. Our house is progressing. It has been the slowest. When I tell you it's been the slowest thing in the world. But actually, it's like the first few months we had one set of builders and they seem to take forever. But then we've got a different set of builders doing all of the interior stuff and they've been really fast. So it's actually been going quite fast the past few weeks. But yeah, we're sort of almost there, but there's still absolutely loads to do. But it is happening in the next few weeks. We'll have a nice new bathroom then, so then I can have a nice robe. And I'm thinking of possibly joining like a bit of a gym over the summer because I get like a long stretch off. And I found one that's got like a nice spa with it as well. So I feel like the robe could actually get a lot of use this summer. So I better get on with it, eh? So yeah, so that's it in terms of what I've been sewing. And then the other thing I was going to mention to you, you might have seen this if you follow me on Instagram. I have found, it's like the fabric holy grail to me. I'm so happy. Now the fabric's going to take a couple of weeks to come, so I thought I would tell you about it now, and then when it comes I'll show you. But I started when I was, as you know, I'm sort of trying to plan outfits for my honeymoon, which is in October, and we're going to Sicily and the Amalfi Coast. And I've been sort of trying to think up like what are my dream outfits that I would love to wear on that trip. Because I feel like it's your honeymoon, you can be a bit like extra with your clothes, right? So I've been curating some nice fabrics and some pattern ideas. And I also have been going online and finding ready to wear items and designer items and screenshotting them as inspiration. And like weeks ago, I went on Net-a-Porter and I was looking at the Dolce & Gabbana stuff, which obviously A, I can't afford, and B, the sizing's absolutely tiny. So I couldn't buy anyway. but they have a lot of stuff that's very like Italian inspired, which is why I was looking there, like big fruit and floral prints and yeah, things that I think suit the image I have for my honeymoon wardrobe. And I screenshotted a load. They had this whole range that were in this Majolica fabric. Now, if you don't know, most of you will know what Majolica is. It is a style of print that comes from Sicily, basically. And sometimes it's sort of tiled. It can be like the really famous ones are sort of blue on white, or they have these really colourful ones which have like lemons and other things in. So there's kind of a range of Majolica fabrics available now, but it's a traditional Sicilian print. And they have a whole range of clothes that are in Majolica print. So they have a whole range that are blue and white, and then they have a whole range that are in this pink and white. And I had screenshotted several outfits in the pink and white. Now I'm going to put some of the screenshots here. So there is this shirt dress, which is, I think, the main thing I was inspired by. They also had some more like bustier dresses, and they had trousers and shorts and skirts and swimwear and all sorts in this range. Now, I've been keeping an eye open for a while now for pink or red or sort of purple, like in that colour palette, Majolica fabrics. And I've not been able to find anything. There's a lot of blue and white, so I was thinking I'll probably end up just switching to a blue and white or finding like a non-Majolica fabric that's in the pinky colours or something like that. And I had a look on Selvage and Bolts, which Selvage and Bolts are a great place to look because they have a lot of really high-end designer dead stock, but they seem to sell it quite cheaply. So I've previously had some dead stock, I think it was D&G silk from there, and some trimmings and stuff like that. They have just really nice fabric from high-end designers, and they had the exact fabric from that Dolce & Gabbana collection. It's a cotton poplin, I think, or it might even just be a cotton something else. It's like a dress. I think it might be a poplin, but I think it's quite a light poplin. There was like a bit of drape in the photo, so I think it might be lighter. It's exactly the same. It's exactly the same as the one in the shirt dress. Oh my gosh, when I tell you I had that in my basket, like, whoom, in the basket. I was honestly so excited because it's, yeah, I think I can just make something now that's going to feel really special to me. Sorry, the light has suddenly gone very, very bright. Sorry, we're back. The light has settled down a little bit. Yeah, I was just thrilled because I feel like now I can make exactly the D&G copy dress of my dreams. And that feels very special to me. So I'm thrilled by that. I don't know which pattern I'm going to use yet. I've got a few shirt dress patterns. Their one is a maxi shirt dress, and I'm going to make it like midi length because I just prefer wearing that length. But yeah, I put it straight in my basket. And I think if you look, because it was, I think it was £24 a metre. I bought 3.5 metres, which gives me a bit of space for pattern matching and stuff like that, because you really do have to with that sort of print. And it's a pre-order, so I think it will come in a couple of weeks. And yeah, I think that I checked what the actual shirt dress was selling for, and it was £2,800. So I think this is one of those things, you know, normally when people say to you, oh, you must save money sewing, and you're like, sewing is a super expensive hobby. I absolutely don't. This is one of those cases where I actually am going to, I mean, I say save money. I would never have bought that dress for almost £3,000, but I can get something that's a really good dupe for that, an absolute fraction of the price, and it's going to be really special. So I'm very excited about that. So it's been a more successful week this week than some weeks gone by. As I said, that fabric will turn up when it turns up, so I will, of course, show it to you. In terms of pattern, as I mentioned, it's going to be a shirt dress. I'm a bit in between. I don't think I'll use the Lyra because the fit on the bodice is too loose. I've got a couple of shirt dress patterns that have princess seams, which again, I don't want. So it's not going to be any of those. Possibly could be a version of the, what's the one I just made? Myosotis, possibly. Nathan, interestingly, I was telling him about this fabric and he said, you should make it like your white dress. And it transpired that he means my Stylark Belle dress. So I've made that, I'll put pictures of that here. So I've made it once in a white broderie anglaise, And I also made it once in like a viscose. Again, that was a crinkle viscose. Also a pain, but still a nice dress. And it was funny that he straight away was like, that's what you should make it in. So I need to think about it, because I think elements of it would work, and then elements of it I'm not so sure. So maybe I'll use different fabric to make that. I don't know. But yeah, I want a really classic shirt dress. Yeah, like quite a fitted bodice, nice sort of A-line skirt, normal sleeves. So I don't want puffy sleeves or anything, because the fabric is so, like, the print is loud. So I just want it to be like a classic shape, so that the print is what's doing all the talking. So yeah, let me know if you've got any favourite shirt dress patterns. Size inclusive, please, because otherwise I'll just get sad seeing patterns that I can't make. So if you know any that you swear by, sort of classic shirt dress patterns that you really like, I definitely want one that has a seam at the waist. I find the ones that just are cut straight down don't suit my shape. I need a bit more like of this short sort of shape rather than a boxy shape. But I could also hack things together. So if there's a really good shirt bodice pattern, I could easily hack a skirt onto that. So I'm open, but let me know if you have any favourites. This is going to be my sort of, I think, my most complex make for the honeymoon, because I want, it sort of just personifies what my honeymoon persona is going to be. Nathan doesn't know. He thinks he's going on honeymoon with his wife, but I have this Dolce & Gabbana persona, Sicilian persona waiting for me. Anyway, as you expected, I'm babbling on. I'm going to go now. Have a great week. If I have done enough to be worth showing you something next week, then I will see you on Friday. If I've not done much, then I will save it until I've got something to say. I will be doing a honeymoon plans video. I know my honeymoon is ages away, but I sort of need to get to it because I'm planning like a whole wardrobe. It's going to be amazing. Anyway, have a great week. Thanks so much for joining me. See you later. Bye.